Kia ora, Charlotte here. I'm into the final week of sharing some really interesting stories of what some Golden Bay elders were doing at around the age of 23. So I asked Carolyn McLellan from Bainham what she was up to at the age of 23, and here's what she had to say.
I'm Carolyn McLellan, and I've lived in Golden Bay since I came here in 1967. It was a place I didn't know, but it's where John lived and was going to farm. So I've considered myself very fortunate to have come to Golden Bay. And I was brought up in Dunedin, and that was where I went to school. And then I had a year teaching in the Cargill, and that's where I met John.
What were you doing when you were 23?
I was teaching, and I was teaching at Collingwood School, which was known as Collingwood District High School. And I had the lower half of the juniors of the primary school. So the primary school was divided into two classes, and I had the infants up to standard 1 or 2. And at the beginning of my 23rd year, I gave up teaching because I was pregnant. Lisa was born at the Collingwood Cottage Hospital, and she was one of the last babies. There were 6 or 7 after her. I arrived because she was overdue, and so the doctor decided that I needed to come in and they'd do an induction. I arrived about 11 o'clock on the day, and John was sent home after about an hour, and I was prepared. There was only one other patient, or mum there. I don't know, you're a patient, what are you there? She was from Tākeka, because the midwife or sister in charge in Tākeka, I don't think we referred to them as the midwife. They were the sister in charge in Tākeka, was having leave, and all the births were in Collingwood, so it was a Tākeka mum that was there. I could smell lunch, and it smelt really yummy, and I thought, this is going to be quite nice, really. Anyway, Sister Harrington, who she was very nice, said, no, doctor said no lunch. I've got castor oil for you. Castor oil? Now, this is 1969. It's not the Middle Ages. I was given this glass with probably a third of a glass of castor oil, and I thought, shivers, I don't know whether I can get that down. Ethely, who was the other mum there, with her 4th or 5th baby, said, I've got some chocolates. I'll give you a couple of chocolates. So she gave me 2 chocolates. So I sat out there on the steps of the hospital in the sun, thinking about this castor oil and 2 chocolates. And I thought, well, I could tip it in the garden. Nobody's going to know. And then I thought, well, if nothing happens, maybe it'll be my fault because I didn't drink the castor oil. Anyway, so I took a slurp of it and 1 chocolate. I got it down thanks to the chocolates. It would never have worked without the chocolates, and still nothing happened. So I think there might have been 4 beds in that one room, very sunny, beautiful room. And Ethely was in one and I was in the other. She had a lot of what I'll call religious sort of music going, and she belonged, there was people who followed someone called Brother Cody at that stage in Nelson, and I didn't know much about him, but I had heard of him. He came to visit her that afternoon. He was very nice, and she was having communion. There was wine and bread, and he included me. Would I like it? And I thought, well, I've had nothing else. There's only the chocolate and the castor oil, the wine and the bread. might be an improvement. So anyway, so I had communion as well. Then Sister Harrington decided that she was going to move me into the other room. She thought that probably this intense music, religious music, was maybe, not the best. I don't know what she thought. Anyway, so she moved me in there. I was allowed to watch TV. So watch TV, and the Goodnight Kiwi, we used to have a Goodnight Kiwi at 11 o'clock. The Goodnight Kiwi came and went, and then the telephone went. I mean, you could hear everything in this place. Oh, no, doctor, no. All right then. So she got off the phone, and I thought, I wonder what that's about. She came into me and she said, doctor's coming up in quarter now, we're doing an induction. So I was taken off to theatre and prepared. The procedure was to put me up in stirrups. So by the time you've had all these interventions, I suppose you're thinking, well, what's that? The doctor had arrived and Sister Harrington had everything ready. The induction began and then the power went off. This was not infrequent in Collingwood. The power often went off, but it was sort of at a crucial stage, really. So I'll have to get the generator going, doctor. I'll get some torches. So there was torches, and Sister Harrington went off to get the generator going, and that took a wee while. And eventually lights came on. It wasn't the power, but the generator worked, and theatre had lights, and the induction proceeded. It worked because Lisa was born before 1 o'clock anyway. So that was my birth experience. It was very interesting.
I love how a couple of birthing stories have emerged from this series. So Carolyn went on to become a community leader in Golden Bay, being really actively involved in Rural Women and Community Board for 20 years, including being the chair of the Community Board for a number of years. Why 23? Well, coming up soon on Tuesday the 23rd of September, I am kicking off a one-year program to take people through the process of writing their life stories, memoirs, histories. I'm keeping it pretty easy, I hope, pretty low tech, and it'll be a journey as a group. If you're interested, check out the link below, and if you'd like to have a chat with me, you're very welcome. Just email me and we'll book and have a cuppa together and have a chat about it. So stay tuned. I've got a few more really cool stories coming up from some inspiring humans of Golden Bay.